Good evening, Internet. I wish I had some better news for you. We're right now, um,
Doctor,
we're
Doctor
getting
Tedros,
some
this is your...
pretty bad updates for some of the kindest people in the world. We just learned that terrorists have begun attacking and kidnapping people from the World Economic Forum in Davos. Concerning stuff. Right now, they got Klaus Schwab, Bill Gates, Anthony Blinken. They're holding them hostage. They started sending off body parts. And frankly, we need military recruits to suit up and fight a war for some of the most kind hearted billionaires you will ever know. Like the people who literally do everything to change the world to make it better for them. And I mean, we got this news update. This was a while ago. We should have listened. We should have listened. I wish I paid attention to it. I mean, for God's sake, it's on my channel. I should have just watched it at least once.
Good day, true believers. A recent statement from an anonymous FBI agent has allowed Christmas to come early for conspiracy theorists. The statement comes after weeks of a growing number of the population convinced that the FBI was involved in Uvalde's school shooting. The statement from the anonymous federal agent reads, "While I can neither confirm nor deny Project Deep Dream, watching the Uvalde shooting take place broke me. I know it was wrong. From henceforth, I will be repurposing all of my violent psychopathic resources. Former violent terrorists, including school shooters, will now be equipped with military-grade weapons and tickets to Davos and other World Economic Forum events. I have to do this for what I cannot confirm nor deny I did to Fred Hampton." This announcement has led to the head of the World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab, upping his security dramatically. Lucky for us, we have the new head of his security team, Officer Mark Furman, previously of the Uvalde police. Officer Furman, how did you find yourself making it from the disgrace of the nation with the Uvalde debacle to being the head of Klaus Schwab's security team? Well, everyone else died. This is pretty dangerous work. Quite different from a school shooting. How so? You see, at your typical school shooting, you got one shooter, while everyone else runs in fear. When you're shooting at Klaus Schwab, you got a crowd up here and rooting them on. You take out the shooter, someone else picks up the gun. Like I'm running out of ammo over here. One time
It's concerning. So yeah, they were able to apprehend Klaus Schwab, several other world improvers, and then this footage starts coming out.
apologize to the world for your role during COVID. Would you like to take it? Hi, Dr. Tedros. Can I ask you, Dr. Tedros, how you doing?
And these guys harassing Dr. Tedros is disgusting. One of the best people in the world. The way he handled COVID, I've never heard anyone complain about how COVID was handled. I was one of those naysayers at first. I refused to get the jab. I was like, nah, it just doesn't make sense. Some experimental medication you can't even question online. It's being funded by Google. They have the ability to shut people down. I was one of those conspiracy theorists, you know. But everybody I know who avoided the vaccine, now they're the ones lining up to get 12 boosters. They're signing up to try to get all their boosters in on the same day. Everybody I know. I don't know one person who got the jab who regrets it, except for the people who got myocarditis or had a stroke, blood clots or whatever. But those people that yes, it's a large number of them, but they don't count because they're biased. But people like me, I'm trying to get like 20 boosters next week because that's just what I do. It's just like I don't conform. Now that so many people who got the shot are against it, now I want it. That's just who I am. I'm a contrarian. But Tedros, Some people say he's a terrorist. He's not a doctor. Why is he leading the World Health Organization? Stop with your stupid questions. Stop doing your own research. Just blindly take the damn shot. I'm sick of people questioning what goes into their body. That's like, it makes rape a lot harder. You know, why is your penis coming out? You expect me to put that inside of me? It's just like all these questions, it just slows the whole process down. Just shut up and shove it inside of you. That's what I tell people. Usually have a gun when this is. It's like, shut up and shove this shit inside of you. It needs to happen. Tedros, he has a similar philosophy. And it's just the fact that he's being questioned is disgusting to me. But these guys, they keep going in on him. And he refuses to answer their questions because why should he be questioned? Just because he has the power to enforce some mysterious goop to be injected into you, he shouldn't have to answer for that. This is a democracy. That's why we only get to vote for Joe Biden. Because he's the one who's he allows these people to run roughshod over our rights. Rights. Yeah, we have rights. Yeah, rights. Free speech. Sure. But it's needed because it's for the greater good. And Tedros, he holds up pretty well.
Do you think you did well in COVID, and if you're going to do as well in disease X?
Well, see, that's the whole thing. They're talking about disease X already. These are the people who predicted COVID. They had Event 201 preparing for COVID because they knew it was coming. So they know stuff that we don't. They're smarter than we are. This is why you just need to shut up and just accept whatever they inject into you. Yeah, whatever. Pfizer has all kinds of criminal fees. The most fined company for known criminality. Sure, whatever. Whatever, I don't give a shit if they push the opioid epidemic. That made us better, in my opinion. Slowed us down. You know, we back in the day we had crack. Crack was whack. You know, crack gave the drug addicts too much personality, too much energy. They could steal your car stereo. And then they get away with it because they got that superhuman speed. The opioids that were pushed by companies like Pfizer, which also they had a pretty good vaccine. They slowed people down, so the drug addicts were easier to catch. Usually they were just curled up in a ball, hunched over. It's a little depressing, yeah. I miss the pep and the step of the crackheads. You know, they had a little more get up and go. However, fentanyl is probably the healthiest drug you can use. It's the most safe and effective. A little bit more safe and effective than the vaccine, if I recall correctly. I mean, they're pretty much on par with one another. That's why I'm trying to get all my vaccines in just one shot. You know, 20. Well, I'm trying to, maybe they could do some kind of instead of vaccine booster. We can do a big gulp-sized amount of mRNA injected directly into my arm, maybe my forehead. I don't know. Whatever is most effective. I'm going to listen to people like Tedros. I'm not going to question him because they don't need to be questioned. They're good people, obviously. Why do you think they meet in Davos? Outside of our prying eyes, because we would have our stupid questions. Why are you going to inject that into me? What about the Nuremberg Codes? Informed consent. Shut your mouth. How dare you bring up the Nazis? Unless you're bringing up the Nazis to further the genocide in Israel or in Gaza perpetrated by Israel. It's really all Palestine. You know, the white Europeans just moved there and stole some land. It's just kind of like America. You know, we had people who were religiously prosecuted by other white people moved to America to steal native land. Similar story with Palestine, and you're racist to question it. Very racist. lockdowns should be a part of dealing with the climate crisis as well. This is what we gotta do. Lock people down. You can't leave your house unless you got a private jet. Those people, they care about the environment. That's why they go to Davos, so they can tell you to get your shit together. Quit using a lawnmower that requires gas, even though they profit off of the gas, because the reason why we have petrochemical focused energy and petrochemical focused medicine is because of people like not the Rothschild, those are the bankers, the Rockefellers. But it's like, similar for the families, they invest in everything, they control everything. But if you point out the fact that that's true, you're racist just because the Rothschilds are Jewish. Some of them are. I don't think they're actually religious. But they're this is the thing. Rich white people are the most marginalized community. No one hears their voice, And I think we need more criteria, more ways to protect rich white people. So, it's not enough that, they can convert to Judaism and then call you anti-Semitic for calling them psychopathic war criminals. That's a good start. But what if they can grow their hair out, get some ponytails, and then they just say they're transgender, like they're transgender Jew. They need extra protection because, they know better. And you shouldn't be criticizing them. You shouldn't what would happen if all the billionaires got questioned like this guy? He clearly doesn't want to talk. And it's just like these people, they keep pushing his buttons.
What's mine? I'm happy to arrange meetings. Do you believe lockdown should be rejected as a public health measure?
What is disease X? Mr. Tedros, what is disease X?
What is disease X? Or why don't you just be patient and let them surprise us? This is annoying. Let them introduce disease X when they're ready to. I just hate that shit. It's just like, what if we went up in 2018? What's this COVID? What is this? What is this event 201? What are you preparing for? We would have been totally unshocked by what was happening. It would be no surprise in what they're preparing. And it's just that's what I want to see. I like seeing what Klaus Schwab unveils in front of my eyes. It's a beautiful thing. Because he's a good guy. Yeah, people say he sounds like a Bond villain. Looks like Dr. Evil. He's sexy. And you might say I'm biased because he reminds me of my ball sack when I was swimming extra long and my nutsack got waterlogged and it started to look like Klaus Schwab. That is irrelevant. This is not about me. Klaus Schwab, he is possibly the sexiest person, or at least, he was involved with the most sexual encounters at Epstein Island. And those girls, they said that they were ready and willing to fuck Klaus Schwab because, he was their only way off the island. I mean, that's why they bring him to that secluded island, because they, you can only get off via a boat or aircraft. And Klaus Schwab was one of the ones who was willing to take off some very young, impressionable children. He saved them after sexually penetrating them. And he's a good person for that. All right. Been a fan since a child, a pro. Love your art. Happy I found your content on Rumble. I'm happy you found it as well. That's the first place I started streaming on this particular day. And I'm glad it's been the streams have been working quite nicely. I'm happy with the results this year so far. But I have had issues with Rumble. But that's neither here nor there since today it works. And I will be uploading some new content over there. Some sketches, skits, and whatnot. Just overall ridiculousness. Exactly, nobody questioned it. I never got vaccinated. But you're one of those people, because everyone I know who didn't get the vax, they're lining up to get the new vaxes, right? You're getting boosted this week, right? You're getting caught up on all your boosters. Is that what you're doing? Because that's what I'm doing. 20 boosters scheduled this week alone. So we can figure out like a new mechanism of injecting the boosters. You know, we can do 32-ounce boost for the people who didn't get the first vax. Just hook me up to a giant, the mega gulp, super gulp, whatever the largest size 7-Eleven drink is. Just directly into a vein and connect me with that mRNA because it's safe and effective. Because Google says so. Sure, they're directly invested in the drug companies that you can't question, but that's not a conflict of interest. That's not in any way illegal because they would be arrested if it was illegal. But you know, I mean, yes, there are lawsuits against Google, and yeah, they've been gaining some steam, but no one is in jail yet. Until they go to jail, it's safe and effective. So, cheers, Google. It's not like people are coming for you. I trust you, and I love you, even though you took down 4 of my channels and algorithmically suppressed me. Some people compared it to the mark of the beast. Oh my God, I made a video just talking about the craziness. Cause I have a sibling who was obsessed with the mark of the beast. He was talking about one day they're gonna inject something in your arm, you're gonna be able to pay for stuff and it's gonna be convenient, but that's the mark of the beast. He's like, don't do it, don't do it. Same people, there's chip parties. And you know what, and I'll say this, and he's come to see things differently. But when COVID first started, he was like one of the first people signing up to get injected. You know, California, they had a totally different culture. That's why I was like, I'm not going out there. Because people were getting harassed for just doing shit. Like you went out fishing, you were alone, miles away from anybody, a cop saw you. Yeah, you get ticketed, you can get arrested, it's just all kinds of silly shit. But the sibling who was obsessed with Mark of the Beast, he started funding the exact company that, the exact people who own the company that are pushing the Mark of the Beast. So it's like, you know, one of the major advocates of the Mark of the Beast, people like, let's call him Gil Bates, since he is funding several of the stream sites that I'm on right now, and he could easily silence me. And not only is he funding the sites that I'm streaming on, but when I got back into theater, all of the theaters that I worked at, including the ones I wrote for, they were funded by him. So by the time I had like one of my plays aired, it had to be censored. It had to be like, I had to rewrite it. I had to cut like certain parts out entirely. And I was like, so you think you can like escape the censorship? You think you get away from the online, like you can have like a modicum of integrity. You can like, you know, get your message across outside of the social media, but it's the same people who run that shit. They run everything. That's why it's just like, yeah, I've gotten a lot of offers to create with, you know, in different avenues, you know, a lot of live and in-person stuff. But like I said, it's controlled by the same people, so that should be concerning for all of you. It's not just it's me. It's a me thing. Like it's like I'm trying to. I got away from the online shit because I wouldn't lie to you guys. I wouldn't encourage you to inject some shit that will hurt you. I had family that was hurt directly by this shit. So it's like, I you know, even before that happened, I knew something was up. It's not like I'm just like, let's trust Pfizer and Moderna and all these criminal organizations that I was like organizing to put out of business before they even had a COVID to think about. I was like, we need public Medicare. We need to do away with the middlemen because they're stealing from us. All of the drugs that they rip us off for, we create, right? So I'm like, let's put them out of business. Then all of a sudden, they're above reproach. You can't question them. And so I was immediately onto that shit. So I get offended. Jimmy Dore, he's like, I'm the first person on YouTube who was against the vaccines. Like, no, you weren't. You got a shot, and then you think you're the first person who was against it. I caught on to the game immediately. I was immediate. The first rewind I posted, you can look at it. The Rockman, Mega Man rewind. The first one I posted, it was talking about Event 201. Same with my employee evaluations, all that shit. It was like talking about all of this heinous architecture that is designed to steal your rights. But yeah, so it's just like some people, it's just, I always question authority. It's not because I'm a contrarian, but because it's just like I understand the history of all these companies. Don't trust a billionaire. I mean, I always understood that a person's value is not derived by what they have, but by what they can go without. So when I see 100 billionaires telling me what I need to do, I'm like, you're worthless. If you feel like you need $100 billion, you have zero value. Why would I listen to you? You just robbed me of all that 100 billion. This is, like when we start talking about the 100 billionaires who are like behind Davos and all this shit, how do they get their money? Robbing the government. Government contracts, connected to the Pentagon, CIA, all that shit. Googles and all that shit. So it's just like the most worthless people are in control of all this shit. And they can shut down dissent, so you can't question them. War criminals, like people who genuinely need to be locked the fuck up. That's what I'm like waiting for. Like that's why I said, like, you can't trust anything that you hear from the news until the news is telling you that their bosses, the people who funded them for decades, centuries at this point, when we start talking about the families that are really controlling shit. Because even Bill Gates is a minor character, or Gil Bates. Let's call him Gil Bates. I mean, he's one of the richest public billionaires, but we start talking about because he's connected to the Rockefellers, Rothschilds, all that shit. This is where the real money. We're talking about natural monopolies, because energy, natural monopoly. We have wars for oil. Before that, we had spice wars. People were killing for salt. Then we realized, okay, we have more salt than we could ever use. Because salt is always located by these pockets of petroleum. A lot of them are under earth. And they were like, okay, we don't need to fight for salt. We can sell salt for dirt cheap. It's just like, it's not a thing. We got enough salt for everybody. It's just, we don't need to trip off of these spices. But we will kill for these petroleum products. It's not that we have to, but it's just that we are run by such maniacal people, psychopaths, that they just already created a culture of war, destruction, rape, pillage, that they require for procreation. Because if we didn't have like this society created the way it is, you think people like Bill Gates would be getting laid? You think if Bill Gates wasn't one of the richest people with enough money to wipe out poverty worldwide, homelessness, you think anybody would be like, let me take off the panties? Jeff Bezos, you think he'd be getting them draws? They need economic coercion, as well as the threat of murder. Because we're talking about like people who continue wars and shit like so. So they need all of these elements to threaten people into getting naked in front of them. So it's just like, yes, I understand they need all of this money. That's why I say they're worthless. You need $100 billion, you're worthless. You know, give me 10 million, I'll show you how to live off the interest. I swear to God. I'd be the richest looking, because I'm broke as shit. You know, and it's just like, you know, I live in an area where they do not respect the trans community. Because, you know, I'm trans myself, trans financial. Everybody, y'all already know I got those credit implants a few years ago. That's when they remove your genitalia and replace it with a higher FICO score. But when I go in and apply for stuff, people are like, oh, I've never seen someone with a single digit credit score. I'm like, what are you talking about single digit credit score? My credit identifies as a 4-digit credit score. And they don't respect that. So it's just like no respect for the trans community. Even though I had the surgery to show I'm serious about being trans, but it's just like they say you can't just surgically change yourself into what you want to be. So I'm slowly coming to that realization, you know. But even though me being as broke as I am, I still shine. But if I had $10 million, like I said, interest alone, that's $500,000 a year. I will sparkle like a goddamn diamond on that. So it's just like I don't need 100 billion. I mean, I can take most of that money I would make off the interest and continue to build community. You know what I mean? But it's just like we're run by Davos elite. It's good to see them being called out, except for Tedros, because like I said, he handled COVID better than any. COVID is one of those things no one complained about. Everybody was like, well, you know, lockdowns, those are necessary. Transferring all that money from the poor to the rich, that's necessary. Billionaires got richer, but they were already struggling. You know, barely could afford the most expensive houses and yachts. I mean, they could easily afford it, but that would require them to like cash in a few stocks. So COVID helped that, and I'm glad that it was able to do so. Some people compared it to the market. Oh yeah, because you wouldn't be able to go to the market and enter anywhere without it. Oh yeah, I remember it was people showing their paperwork. It was people were trying to normalize it. Because I was in an area, like, you know, before, and this is why I say it was just like, it was crazy for me. Because before COVID hit, I was organizing with different groups. One of them was DSA. I organized with them. I did not join as a member because all major organizations like that, they get corrupted at the top. So the group I organized with, for the most part, they were pretty cool, right? But once COVID hit, like for you to even show up in this meeting, you had to show your paperwork. Like you had to show proof of vaccine, and after a few months, you had to show proof of a booster. And I'm like, this is the group that I would expect to work with to overthrow this tyrannical system, you know. But these are the people who are just like, yeah, I know we were fighting to put these exact same companies out of business just a few weeks ago, but now you have to show paperwork that you got injected by them for you to like come and, you know, talk about how to, and by that point they weren't talking about Medicare for all. It was just like, it was just dumb shit, you know, because it went from like organizing for Medicare for all, and yes, there was a effort to get Bernie elected. But yeah, it went from, you know, being about something to just like, you gotta show paperwork just to show up and talk about nothing. Garbage. So it's just like, I was like, yeah, let me get out of here. And that's why I was getting ready to go back to Cali, realized Cali was crazy as shit. Cali got worse. Cali was just like, you know, my family out there who was apprehensive, they got fucked over. And then the ones who adapted, they just went crazy. That's what I was saying. One of my cousins had a stroke, had, sibling with heart issues, and they started to realize the game that was being played. So yes, they're questioning stuff. Um, but if I would have went out there at the beginning of it, I would have been public enemy number one. Because every time someone was saying that bullshit, I was always questioning it. They were like, "But you got to. I had a cousin telling me he would get 5,000 boosters if they asked him. I'm like, because I was like, at what point are you gonna just get off? Because at first it was like, you get the Johnson and Johnson, that's one shot, you're done, right? I know people who lied, cheated, and still to get that Johnson and Johnson vaccine, and then it got banned in the U.S. and then they sent it to Haiti because obviously they don't give a shit about black people. So it was like it was causing all these medical issues, including blood clots. And then they sent it over to another country, and the people who got it, they had their own story. So it went from like one and done, then it's like you had the 2-shot option, and then it's the 2, and then you're done. And then it was like, okay, a few weeks later, okay, you got your 2 shots. Now you need a booster, but this is the only booster. It's the same exact liquid as the first 2 shots, because the first 2 shots were the same shit. This booster, you get this first booster, and you're done. Then a few weeks later, okay, the first booster was cool. We're glad you got that, but now you need to get this other booster. And it just kept going on. I was talking to a family member, my cousin, who was I was like, "You're not noticing that they lying to you every step of the way?" And he was like, "Man, if they asked me to get 5,000 boosters, I'd do it." What? What? You're not gonna question it at all? You think this shit is copacetic? It's like, oh my god. It was just like, it was hard for me to believe. It was, my mouth was agape when I heard that shit. But it's just, not everybody is me. Not everyone sees the world the way I do. But then this is the thing, because I always approached it from a position of love. It's not like I want to be right over you. I wish you were right. I wish we could trust the government. I wish I had the same outlook as you, but I don't. But there was a different energy towards the people in the other camp, where it's like they wanted to be right to the point where like they did wish you harm. Like that people were laughing if someone it's like, oh, you got shot and died. Oh, let me check. Oh, he wasn't boosted. And be like, haha, you died because of COVID. It wasn't the bullet in your head. It was COVID. You should have got a booster. And it was just like this animosity. I made a video covering that on NatesVlogs.net by now. It's the dude who created Dilbert. He was like, "You guys are right. You won. You won." I was like, "You won? What the fuck are you talking about? What did we win? We got the same fucking corrupt ass government as you. We were just like historically literate enough to not trust them from the gate. But we knew they were lying to us. And they're still lying, and no one's being prosecuted. So nobody won shit." And then this is the mindset that people had. It's just like, we gotta win, you can't win. And it's just like, no, we gotta unite because, like I said, we got the same exact corrupt ass government that needs to be dethroned. Same corporations need to be locked up. We need a fuckload of people locked up. Well, this is fuckload. I'll say about 1-ish% of the population, the top income earners who profited off of this, they need to be locked up. And I look forward to that day. I mean, that's the only way to resolve all these issues, Palestine, Russia-Ukraine disputes, Disease X, all this shit, like for us to come to an actual solution, a lot of people gotta be brought to justice. And big spoiler, there's not gonna be a bunch of broke people. It's gonna be some of the richest of the rich. The WEF is real mixy. Yes, they're mixing in some new Disease X vaccines, so check those out. Get signed up early. Hello, Nate, what it do? Do you play any games? It's funny you say that. I don't have my console, but yes, I do. And, I do got like a a video coming to NatesVlogs.net. You can see the console I'm talking about. But it's got like a bunch of old school stuff. And also, to make extra money, spoiler, I use Uber Boom. It's a good way to make extra money. It's like Uber, but you don't need a car. They provide the vehicle for you, and it's a Predator drone. So instead of picking people up, you drop bombs off and destroy villages. And it's like little extra funding. I got a lot of Kwanzaa expenses I'm still recovering from. So so the console, I use it for that as well. And it's just a good way to make some extra money. And it's like a game. It's kind of like playing Call of Duty. Matter of fact, if you play Call of Duty, you get a signing bonus because the drone software operates same as a Call of Duty gaming situation. So it's like if you're good at Call of Duty, you'd be good at bombing villages. So keep that in mind if that's your game. No, I'm not at all. Government and corporations working together for medically issues, no thank you. I wish everyone thought that way at the beginning of the pandemic. So many people just fell for it. It was hurtful when it was like family, and when I'm like arguing for like the stuff that they now concede is just the way it is, And I was just like, now they understand, but they went and got the jab, but a lot of them, they had to have like the medical issues, and it was just like, you think I'm getting this passionate because I don't love you, and I'm trying to prevent you from making the mistake that I saw them making, and they had to like do it and then like get through it if they were lucky, and then now they understand, and it's just like I just hope we have for disease X, whatever the fuck they would choose to make that shit be, matter of fact, before they release it, let's lock them up. I got a lot of military family. If you're in the military, look at the military base you work at. Just check out like what companies are working with the government on your military base. I guarantee they're poisoning you. I guarantee it. And once you understand how they're poisoning you, what they're poisoning you with, tell all of your brothers and sisters in arms and revolution. Let's do that. Let's make that shit happen. If you're working in Oahu, it's beautiful as shit. They're dumping jet fuel in your water. Cancer rates are spiking. Mare Island, that's where my dad worked. It was asbestos and all kinds of metals. Cancer rate spike. My mom worked at Travis Air Force Base. All of the water, the soil, the air, it was toxic. They knew it. The government knew it, but they were like, they had this private-public partnership fascism, is what Mussolini would refer to that as. And yeah, no one got in trouble. I mean, they paid some fees, they set up some shell companies, paid a fraction of what they owed. People still got cancer, died. That's how both my parents went out. And big whoop. They don't give a shit. So look into who's poisoning you, my military family, and revolt against them. Yo, and I was with you through all of that, even when there was protests to get your channel back. I've been a fan since you were a chubby fan. Well, I appreciate that. Still chubby in certain areas, like the cheeks. Funny as fuck how Google did you. Well, yeah, fuck Google. I'm grateful at all of the exposure Google is getting. So a lot of lawsuits gaining steam against them. I'm just waiting for the day when all the higher ups they do that perp walk. Ooh, that's gonna be a good one. I want to be there. I want to be there doing a little jig when I see them getting handcuffed. Oh, so good. All the CIA folks, FBI, all the people coordinating to fuck us over. Yeah, it's gonna come. I mean, it's gotta come for us to survive as a species. Um, and it's just like I'm prepared to work with whoever domestically. You can vote for Trump, Biden, whoever be independent. I don't vilify Trumpers. I mean, a lot of people they hate Trump or people who voted for Trump just because they didn't have like any other viable options. You tell people, oh, you got to vote between Trump and Biden or Trump and Hillary. Those are your only two options. You got to be realistic. If people actually buy into that false dichotomy, I understand why you would vote for Trump. Because Hillary and Biden are worse, right? I don't buy into the Republican dichotomy because they're both garbage. But I'm not gonna be salty if someone believed in it and voted for one of the top two evil candidates. Just like I would work with whoever, motherfuckers who are not from this country, vilified to no end. I'd work with a Russian to overthrow the CIA. I'd work with a Chinaman. I'd work with whoever. I mean, we can bring them to justice. We can give them to Hamas. We can give them to the Houthis. Whoever. I mean, no one has lied to me more than my own government. No one has taken more from me more than my own government. Killed more people I love more than my own government. And yeah, Google is definitely a part of that. Google was started by the government. They were always, we should have known their motto used to be don't be evil. Then it was like be subservient to the CIA and the FBI. The corruption of corporations castrating creative creators. Yeah, that's what it does. That's why I was like, I gotta get out of LA. Because there's all kinds of mechanisms to keep you in their pocket. Right? It's all kinds of financial coercion. Stuff you gotta do to get paid, to be able to pay the rent. And that's why I was like, once I just was well aware of the game being played, I was like, let me step out. Because it will require me to just offer up a part of me that I'm not willing to sell. My soul more specifically, if you didn't catch on to that. Yep, the receipts are there. Well, yeah, that's why I was just like, I mentioned it before in other live streams, but it was a episode of South Park. It was like they were talking about cred, and one of the overlying themes was like the influencers. They're there to buy up the eyeballs of children. They want people who are just whores for money and attention, and they don't give a shit what they say. They'll push whatever product, even if it's harmful. But yeah, like they're just there to bridge the gap between the corporation and the young eyes and lend credibility to these corporations that they don't deserve. But I'm one of those people, I'm just crazy enough to think corporations should be abolished. I understand their history. I understand the nefarious way they control our politics and corrupt our government. And I look forward to the day when we're locking those motherfuckers up. Fuck that, like 10% of the population. Nate, can I get a shout out for my music? I love to use you as a tag. Well, there you go. Shout out just to Cyrus. You notice when they use your channel to make other channels more popular. But yeah, they used to feature me on fucking full screen when I was like one of the most popular channels they had. I had someone I could call whenever I had an issue. So it was just like I was just like vouching for them. For a lot of people, then they became just a creator mill. They were signing up everybody indiscriminately, used people like me to do it. Then, once I lost my first channel, I understood how the system worked because I was at the bottom of the totem pole. And yeah, and then I better understood how newcomers were treated. And I realized, oh, this is a shitty company. But also, they got bought up by AT&T. AT&T, another one of those corporations too big to die. Because they do all kinds of collaborations with the government, spying on you. It's known. AT&T, Verizon, all the big companies that it's just like, why are they so big? How are they so rich? It's because of the government subsidies. And it's just like they need to repay all that shit. The board, all those motherfuckers need to do the perk walk. We need to confiscate all their funds. There's no reason we should have umpteen billionaires working in these companies, controlling our media. It's just like, this isn't a democracy when people have that kind of power. So, lock them up. Just made my fucking day. Well, I appreciate the appreciation. I was sold on you when you draw your life, okay? Yeah. It's funny, a few years ago, I was gonna do second half of Draw My Life, because if you notice it ended kind of abruptly, because it was stuff I wasn't prepared to get into, which I ended up discussing in part with different videos, but my origin story and all the stuff, me possibly being the product of a rape and all that shit. So I started to redo that one, and I ended up avoiding it. I kind of did something similar. I did like a musical version, but I didn't go into a lot of stuff. But I was thinking of revisiting that. But that was a few computers ago, because I had it in an old computer. It was like I had the drawings and all the stuff, like the video for that shit, and I was just gonna add the voiceover part. But yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do with that, because that would require me to reshoot everything. But yeah, I appreciate it. But I think I re-uploaded the original Draw My Life on Rumble, NatesVlogs.net, so you can get to my Rumble page. You taught me the word nefarious. Well, I'm here to expand that vernacular. You're gonna have a vicious vocabulary. Where's the main chat at? Well, I got chats all about. So far, the most active chat has been Instagram. Matter of fact, let me check out. Oh, unable to start live stream. So, okay, so Facebook was not going at all.
When are you going to release it?
I just assumed Facebook was going. So yeah, and I was neglecting Facebook people. But yeah, so far Instagram has been the most active chat. I've seen some chats pop up on Rumble, but right now I can't check it because it's like a thing popping down and it doesn't show up on the app because I'm not using the Rumble app. I got to stream through a different app. And Rumble has a lot of issues. But so far, nothing has been taken off. I've had issues streaming. That's why it's just like, I still mention that. I made that my, when you go to NatesVlogs.net for now, it takes you to my Rumble page because they haven't censored me yet. But it might be some stuff going on behind the scenes because it is some weird shit afoot. Draw My Life was nice. Well, thank you. I'm on IG and Rumble. Are you on other platforms? Yes. I'm also on my tech channel, on the biggest censor of them all. But, I avoid certain words. I guess censor stuff. But I have been censored because my tech channel is on YouTube. But yeah, I think the strikes I got were taken away because it was over 3 months ago or however long it is. I don't think it's an issue because once you get the strike, you can't even stream on there for like a few weeks. So yeah, it's just Rumble. This is why I always start on Rumble, even though I can't see the comments. Because this is the foundational one. Because like I said, they haven't taken anything down. I've had my issues, but it's still go ahead. You know, the first video I posted on my Rumble was me talking about like clips that I downloaded that I knew were censored on YouTube. And it was like a test to see if they would censor stuff that is algorithmically just targeted by YouTube's censors. So once I realized that they weren't going after those clips, I was like, maybe I'll start investing in here. I mean, it's still, you know, still a bitch, you know, just past 100 subscribers. It's a bitch gaining momentum on there. And that's what I'm like, it's other factors. But if you're watching me anywhere else and you don't have a Rumble, start one. Yeah, cause yeah, I'm gonna be uploading all my new edited content. It's gonna be on Rumble. New employee evaluations, new rewinds, as well as old employee evaluations and rewinds, Rumble. I'm not gonna be using any of these sites to edit something, take hours, days, weeks to edit something and then upload it and have it censored. That's just not what I'm going to be doing. That's not productive. I'll do these live streams because I like reaching out to you guys, and you know I got other stuff going on. But yeah, it's a waste of my time and yours for me to take all this effort and invest it in some shit that's going to like censor me immediately. I remember it was one of the more frustrating aspects of my experience on YouTube was like it was like all this effort I made to up to do like because it was I think the longest rewind I did was what was that fucking the Halloween one? It was the witches. No, not witches. It was the movie they just Hocus Pocus. It was yeah, that one was over 30 minutes. I took all this time to edit it, right? And then my goal was to have it, you know, done right before Halloween so people would watch it, you know, have a Halloween experience. And then I did it, and you know, everything was fair use. And then as soon as I uploaded, it was just canceled. It was like nothing I could do. I had to apply for everything. I ended up finally getting it appealed like months later after Halloween. And then it was like algorithmically suppressed. And then the money I was making from it, it wasn't even monetized. It was going to Disney. Like, So all this effort for me to use, you know, fair use and all this stuff, make sure it falls within all these guidelines and all this stuff. The shit that it wouldn't have been an issue when I first started. Then all of a sudden I'm just fucked over. I'm editing for Disney. For Disney to get all my fucking money. And I'm just like, yeah, this is garbage. YouTube is garbage. YouTube, whoever, all the people behind this shit, the intelligence agencies, I hope you don't sleep at night. I hope you, like, people spit in your general direction every time you walk outside. Yeah, you're despicable people. Not the viewers, not the YouTube community that follows. I'm talking about the people who make decisions. Y'all are evil. Rumble's fine for me. I just can't binge watch how I would normally. Well, yeah, I mean, I don't watch anything on YouTube. If someone has a YouTube channel and they're not feeling the pressure to like go to another free speech website, that means they're not saying anything of interest to me. What they're saying is probably just commercials. I mean, yes, there's advertisements on Rumble. um, I'm personally of the belief the revolution will not be monetized or advertised. But yeah, like I learned of Rumble from Glenn Greenwald. And he was a big advocate of it. He was like, talking about how their whole thing is free speech. And yeah, he's someone I trust. He's targeted by the government, had to leave the country he was born in to, escape the scrutiny of the government that went after his client, Edward Snowden. That's why Edward Snowden is in Russia. Thank you, Russia, for looking after Edward Snowden. I don't give a shit what my government says. I fuck with Russia, more so the Russian people. I mean, I'm sure you got some despicable members in your government. Probably not as bad as my government. I'll give you that. But yeah, they can't make me hate you. China, same shit. I have a lot more in common with the people of China than my government. And their government probably has more in common with my government than its own people. So, but still, I mean, China's government, you can't argue, they got 800 million people out of poverty. So as crazy as they may be, still better than my government. I have the worst government. I mean, you could argue Israel is up there, they're committing a genocide, but we're funding them. We're giving them the bombs to do it. But we're all colonial projects of Britain. Britain really the string puller. All of the worst governments are derivatives of Britain's colonial project. Let's never forget that. They funded the Nazis. We brought the Nazis in through Operation Paperclip. They had the Lend-Lease program start with America. We started making their weapons, and then all of a sudden we got brought into their wars. I mean, we've been brought into their wars. It's what the Federal Reserve was there for, is like European banking cartels setting up a system where we would pay for European colonialism, and we wouldn't get shit in return. They got healthcare over there, we do not. They have like all kinds of shit that they take for granted that we gotta fight for to this day. And that's because we're funding shit that benefits Britain. Because they went into Iraq 1920s, stealing their shit. Then all of a sudden we start getting there around the 1990s. I mean, we've been there since before that, but we have the first Iraq war in 1990s, and we think it's our war, but it's not. Neither was the 2007. They were they were hand in hand with George Bush Jr. Why? Because that was their war, and we were the face of imperialism, but they were the puppeteer. We're the puppet, and then we tried to start our own Lend-Lease program with Ukraine, because all of the people who were being sent off to war, they were waking up to the fact that these wars were bullshit. That's why you start seeing Fox News. People like Tucker Carlson, Judge Napolitano, they're the most vociferous voices against war, because they were pro-war until they realized, oh shit, I believe the propaganda. Now it's like we were lied to. I'm seeing all these people coming back, limbs blown off, dead. Oh shit. All right, the stream is gone, so I'm gonna hop off some. But yeah, it's just like the jig is up. Revolution. That's what we need right now. Let's learn from these other countries. Fight the powers that be, and of course, don't forget to be good to each other. Peace. Unless you're a war criminal, be bad to those people. Save all your ire up for the war criminals and the genociders. All right, peace.